Hello, everyone. This is Renee Rentmeester with another edition of the Cooking Without Looking TV show podcast. And today we have someone very special. We are combining beauty and blindness, and Naomi Panarella is here to help us out. Hello, Naomi.
Hello, Renee. How are you?
I am fine. How are you?
I am doing well. Coming to you from Houston, Texas. It's a little gloomy here, but no rain, so we'll take it.
Well, you'll bring us the sunshine, Naomi.
I'm hoping.
Well, tell us a little bit about your blindness journey, Naomi.
Yes, so I have retinitis pigmentosa. I do know my specific gene mutation because I've been genetically tested for that actually a couple of times. So I'm a very avid researcher, if you will, on my own terms of just trying to learn more about my specific gene mutation of my eye disease. I was diagnosed in 2013, so it's been a little while since I've been diagnosed.
I think you're the first person who's told me that they've been able to do that.
Really?
A specific gene mutation. You are the first one, and we've had many people with retinitis pigmentosa. But go on. I think that's totally interesting.
Well, so for me, because with RP, there are so many various mutations, and I'm pretty heavily involved with the Foundation Fighting Blindness, which is a national organization. There is a chapter here in Houston, and I serve as the vice president for the chapter. So I was living in New York at the time and had gotten tested some, routine eye exams. And I'd been given a test that I'd never been given my entire life. And I've always had issues with my vision. I've always worn glasses. I've had astigmatism, you name it. I've probably dealt with it as a kid and a young adult. But when I got into being my adulthood, as I mentioned, went for an eye exam, had a doctor give me a test that I'd never been given before, and I quote unquote failed it. And so he asked me to come back again and retake the test. Yeah, but thinking like, oh, maybe the equipment's faulty or something. Let's try this again. So I went back again. I had another test done, and I failed the test again. They said, okay, there's more to this story than just the equipment. So he said, I'm going to refer you to a specialist. So I went and saw a specialist, and they did a whole bunch of testing on me, and kind of blank point said, you have retinitis pigmentosa, you're probably going to go blind.
Jeez.
And I just thought, okay, wait, hold on, back up. I have what? Like, what did you just say? Like, that's obviously a medical term I'm not familiar with. I'm not a doctor. I have no earthly idea what that means. He did give me some kind of brochures and kind of just, sent me on my way. And I was working that day. So I took, a lunch break to go to the doctor's office. And I remember coming out of the doctor's office, and it was raining that day. And I kid you not, Renee, every single drop felt like a needle piercing my skin because it just felt like, what did this doctor just tell me? Like, am I going to wake up tomorrow and I'm not going to see?
And they just dropped it on you like a bag of potatoes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And, when you hear something life altering like that or anything similar, it absolutely changes your perspective of your life right then and there. What's the immediate thoughts for me were my future. What does this mean for my future?
Right.
So I thought, all right, I got two options here. I can either seclude myself into isolation from everyone and be, poor me, what am I going to do? Or I can arm myself with education. I can get involved with a community of other individuals that share something similar to what I'm going through and have a sense of family and really teach myself, what in the world do I have? How do I deal with this? How do I handle this moving forward throughout my life? And that was the road I chose. So like I said, I got involved with the Foundation Fighting Blindness. I'm involved with another organization here in Houston called HAVEN, which is an acronym that stands for Houston area visually impaired network. I serve as the treasurer for them. I participated in a beauty pageant for women that are visually impaired or have no vision, and I won the title. So I am the current Miss Blind Diva 2021-2022.
As we can see in your photo, I bet
Oh,
people were
yes.
wondering, why does she have that crown on?
That is why. I am pretty heavily involved in the visually impaired and blind community because I'm kind of in between. I still have a lot of vision. It is mostly central. I don't have any peripheral. I don't have depth perception. I have zero vision at night. So I stopped driving about 7 years ago. And I think working in New York actually prepared me for this because obviously mass transit is pretty heavy up there, taking the bus, the train, walking. And little did I know that that was actually going to be my means of transportation for my future. So I thank New York and their mass transit systems for kind of prepping me for what I now use on a regular basis just to navigate. I do still work full time as an executive assistant for an oil and gas company here in Houston.
Do they give you free gas? Just wondering here. Well,
So
you're not driving. So.
Right, I don't drive, but I do have a bus pass, and my company covers the cost every month, so I never pay to use the bus.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So, yeah,
You've gotten used to that?
I really have. I'm only a mile away from between my house and my job. So it's ideal for me to just hop on a bus, get to work, get home, and then, as far as everyday living goes, my groceries are delivered to me. I'm making Jeff Bezos rich every day by probably ordering everything under the sun through Amazon. I use Target delivery. Friends, sometimes if we go out, they're willing to scoop me up, or I Uber to our destination. I mean, I've never seen it as a roadblock. And, I was once asked in another group that I'm pretty involved with. There was a gentleman that had asked, because the program is like an immersive program where we blindfold individuals and we ask them to kind of participate in everyday activities, write your name on a piece of paper, try to do a math equation, try to pay for something, try to move from your chair to that table over there as you're blindfolded. It's really about just trying to get empathy from others that are sighted, for people who live in an unsighted world. And at the end, we kind of, pick people's brains. And this guy had asked, like, what's your biggest challenge as someone who's visually impaired? And I said, nothing. There is nothing. There is no roadblock. There is no challenge for me. Things can be difficult sometimes to manage and to navigate through, but I don't feel like there's anything in life that hinders me from doing whatever it is that I want. I travel, I hike. I just did a week's worth of hiking in Utah last week. I'm going surfing for my, yeah, I'm going surfing for my birthday this year.
How cool. When's your birthday?
It's in November.
Okay. Well, that's a wild time to go surfing, but you're in Houston, so I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm flying out to Costa Rica to a surfing camp.
Okay.
But I say these things to you and to the audience so people know that, just because you're visually impaired, that shouldn't stop you. If anything, for me, I almost feel like it's a reason to venture out and really push my life to whatever points I can, because sometimes I feel like I'm racing the clock. I don't know when my vision's going to be completely gone, and I want to see and do and take in everything that I possibly can before it does come to that point. If it does, I don't know that it will for sure, or that it won't, but in the meantime, I mean, heck, I'm taking every day to its fullest.
As we all should. As we all should.
Right.
Well,
even if you're not visually impaired.
Well, that's an excellent way to live. Everybody should live that way. It sounds like almost like you losing your sight freed you up.
It 100% did, Renee. There are so many things that the pageant is for one. I can assure you, I never would have envisioned, pun intended, that I would be, participating in a beauty pageant. Never. I tell people, having visual impairment didn't happen to me, it happened for me.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, what should happen? What do you think if tomorrow you woke up and you couldn't see at all, what would your thoughts be?
I think my thoughts would be, okay, we've arrived at this, inevitable point. Um, who you're probably going to start making some adjustments. I do have a lot of technology, like I hope I don't set yours off, but I call her Lady A, so I don't set anyone's, device off in the background.
Oh,
Um,
I know.
I think you know who I'm referring to.
Yes,
Uh,
yes. I was
so
going to use that term for later on, but go on.
okay, so I have a lot of technology. I have a lot of things in place for me because I know that there may come a point when that does happen and my world just turns completely dark. So I want to be prepared for it as much as I possibly can. Um I started white cane training last year, and I use my cane. His name is Willie. Willie and I travel quite a bit together, especially when I'm having to travel independently on and off the bus to and from home, or if I'm going to the airport to fly out somewhere. Willie absolutely comes along with me. But I have some things in place to help me. I've got a lot of voice command things that I know I can for sure interject if that were to happen tomorrow.
Did you
I do.
have any friends who didn't accept Willie as part of the group
Uh, I don't think so. I don't think anyone's been opposed to him ever being present. I
or
mean,
feeling awkward around you now?
no, I don't. I mean, I know. So there was an incident recently. I actually had to go to see my doctor, my lady doctor, we'll call her that. And I had to have a lady exam done, and I had Willie with me. And prior to, I didn't have Willie with me. And I remember the nurse practitioner said, "Oh, I don't recall you having that the last time you were here." And I said, "You're right, I didn't." And she said, "Oh, did something happen?" And I said, "Yeah, kind of. I'm visually impaired, and it's just getting a little more challenging for me to navigate. And I really need an outwardly sign to the world that I may not see you when you jump in front of me, or if you are trying to do something for me. So this will let you know that I am visually impaired." And she said, "Okay." So then immediately her everything changed. Tone, her body language,
Yeah.
the way she assisted with it was like all of a sudden, it's almost like Willie is my red carpet. People see him and it's like, how can we help you? Let me get out of the way. Let me grab this door for you. What do you
Makes
need
you
me
wish
to
we
do?
all had Willie, right?
Oh, I can't tell you. I mean, at the airport, it's like parting the seas when I come through with Willie. I love it. It's a blessing. I will tell you, before I started using Willie, I definitely had cane shame.
Ah,
Yeah.
how did you
And
get over it?
um so I attended a conference not too long ago in Orlando, and it was the Foundation Fighting Blindness's vision conference that they do. I think it's every other year, not every year. And this year it took place in Disney World, and it was so much fun. And I thought, crud, wait a minute. I can get a ride to the airport, but once I get inside the airport, I'm on my own. And walking through an airport for someone who's visually impaired is like
Oh
walking through a
my.
landmine.
Even if you have your sight, my gosh.
Yeah, it's walking through a landmine. So I had Willie with me, and I said, "All right, Willie, it's time to make your premiere." So I took him out and we walked through security. Immediately, I had a TSA representative assist me through security all the way to the gate. I had someone help me from the gate onto the plane. I had a flight attendant attend to me every 5 seconds during the entire flight. So that's why I say it feels like, we say VIP, meaning for most people, very important person, but to me, it means visually impaired person.
It was also
So
very important.
Yes, and very important. So
Well,
I knew I had to come to, I had to come to terms with that. I had to use a white cane, and I was, I was between a rock and a hard place, and that began my kind of like public appearance with my white cane with Willie, was having to attend that conference because I thought there is no way I'm going to be able to do this alone without the assistance of my white cane. So the cane shame ended that day.
oh, that's a great term for it, cane shame. I've never heard that either. Well, tell us a little bit. Your friend Melissa Reyna shot you in a vignette. I call it the Cooking Without Looking bite-sized version, and you were preparing. What you're preparing? The shrimp, the
Yes, it was it's a lemon and
rosemary.
rosemary shrimp dish. It is by far one of my favorites. It's a really big hit with my friends, and sometimes it's requested. Uh, it's a really, it's a really simple recipe, and it's actually a very healthy recipe as well. So, yeah, I just use ghee, which is like a purified butter as opposed to like regular butter. So I put a couple of tablespoons of that in a pan and let it get warm and melty, and then I add onions and shallots, salt, pepper, and chili pepper flakes, and kind of just let that cook for a little bit. And then I throw in some lemon slices and the fresh rosemary, and kind of let the lemons cook a little bit on both sides. And then I add some shrimp that's been deshelled with the tails off, although sometimes I prepare it with the tails because it just looks prettier at the end of plating.
Sure.
So there's either option. And then I add some seafood stock and just kind of let it simmer for a few minutes, and voila, it's done. You can add it with
Well, that's one
rice
of
or
those recipes
pasta.
that you can almost smell just
Oh,
hearing about it.
my kitchen, oh my gosh, so fragrant with the rosemary and the lemon and the flakes. And yes, absolutely. It's a very fragrant recipe, and people immediately will be drawn to the kitchen if they smell that cooking.
And for those of you listening right now, you can go to our Cooking Without Looking website. It's www.cookingwithoutlooking.tv.wordpress.com, or our Cooking Without Looking YouTube channel. And you can see Naomi make her recipe. And the recipe, again, is on our website, www.cookingwithoutlooking.tv.wordpress.com. Naomi, do you have any parting thoughts about blindness or what people going through? What would your advice be?
I think a few things, when you first learn about, that you're about to go through a life change, because that is what it is, it's life altering. I think it's really important to seek out a community, so that you have a support system, because I do know of people who are going through it and they don't have that in place, or they don't have family members that are willing to accept what that person is going through. So it is an absolute must to find your people, find your tribe, find your community in your area that you can go to, because those people, they understand, they get it, they want to help, they want to be there for you. And then once you've met that group of people, become an ambassador. Use your voice. You still got that hopefully in place. Um, just become an ambassador, educate the sighted world about the unsighted world, because we still have a lot of stigmas attached to us. There's still a lot that people are unaware of, that we are on a spectrum. It varies, it's not there, it's not so black and white. So those are maybe some things I'd like for your audience to hang
Well,
on to and
and
use.
and anyone at any moment that could happen. So
Absolutely, absolutely.
and I find that a lot of people don't know people who are blind or visually impaired. So
Mhm.
the education is and outreach is very important.
Yes, yes, it is very much.
So Naomi, if anyone wants to reach out to you, how would they reach you?
So I've got a few things. I mean, I've got my personal, social platforms, as well as my social platforms related to the pageant. The pageant is actually coming up October 1st. Well, we will be crowning a new Miss Blind Diva, and my Instagram account is Miss MS dot Blind Diva 2021. I have that linked to all my other platforms, but that's pretty much the most active one that I use. And once the new person is crowned, I mean, I'm still around if anyone ever wants to reach out to me personally. And my account on Instagram is LMS, which is an acronym for Little Miss Sunshine. So it's LMS and then my name, NAOMI. But there are 4-letter I's at the end of my name because as a kid, I was called Four Eyes because I had glasses. So it's kind of a little play on of just things. So to refresh, that's LMS, Naomi, NAOMI, and 4 Eyes at the end. I.
Ay, ay, ay. Sort of like a pirate.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that a gmail.com?
That's actually my Instagram,
Oh,
which
okay.
is
Okay.
pretty. I'm on that all the time. I know a lot of people tend to message me through that, and then we can go offline and exchange numbers and emails. Yeah.
Well, that's great. Naomi, thank you so much for being a part of this today. And
Oh,
the
thanks,
video,
Renee.
of course, of course. And you know, you brought up some really great things that we've never really covered here. And I think the coolest part was the gene that you came up with, that you knew exactly the gene that made you
Yep.
you know, start to go blind.
Yeah, and if there's anyone out there that's interested in learning about how to find out what your specific gene mutation is, I'm available. Again, you can contact me through Instagram and we can go offline about that. But I did that through the Foundation Fighting Blindness because they offer it for free, no cost.
Wow. Well, that's wonderful. Well, again, Naomi, thank you so much for everything you've done for us, for being on the show and for being on our podcast. Thank you for helping us change the way we see blindness. Have a
Yes,
great
ma'am. Thank you.
day.